back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Holy flying flipping flapjacks, full-time family, what is going on here? This sounds like #1 bullshit, and I know a lot of you guys hit me up like, yo, full-time, have you seen that the UFC's not stripping Conor McGregor? Tony Ferguson's gonna be defending his interim title versus Khabib. I know a lot of people were going crazy. I was busy making other videos, so I didn't even catch the news, but yes, this was just reported today. But let me be the one to tell you it's okay. I will fucking save you from yourself. I know a lot of people are jumping to the assumptions and conclusions, and Reddit's going crazy, and everybody assumes that this is the case. But and I will say this, if it is the case, I won't be buying this pay-per-view. That's a fact, and I'll explain why. But I don't think that's the case. I think we're all good, man. I think we'll still be buying this pay-per-view and all be happy, and we'll all get what we want, which is Conor McGregor to be stripped at this point, because now this fight is official. We don't want to see an interim champion defend that belt while there's a healthy champion. I think we all understand Conor McGregor has transcended the belt, so there's no reason for him to keep the division log-jammed. And I guess you could say, well, the division's not log-jammed if the interim champ can just keep defending his belt, bro. And I'll say, yeah, but you clearly don't know what the fucking interim belt is. So let's get into this, all of this madness. And just real quick, Conor's transcended the belt. If Conor McGregor comes back and fights one of these guys, the winner of this, if it were for the real belt, it would be the same difference. So if this was true, as I said, because I would not be buying this pay-per-view, because it's completely bullshit if you're gonna have Tony Ferguson defending an interim belt versus a contender when the champion is healthy. As I said earlier, Conor McGregor isn't doing anything but spending money. I mean, he didn't fight MMA all early 2017 because of the baby. Then he didn't fight all late 2017 because of Floyd Mayweather. Now it's looking like he's not going to be back until September. And Dana White himself has said if that's the case, we will be stripping Conor McGregor. Now, Dana White himself has said that Conor McGregor will be stripped if that's the case. We've heard numerous other reports and rumors that Conor McGregor will be stripped this Saturday at UFC 220, but now Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov has been announced. Dana White himself has announced the fight on the Rich and Toucher podcast, and now the UFC.com has released this statement, which is making a lot of people assume that all of these reports and Dana White himself has been lying about stripping Conor McGregor. Now, this is what the statement has to say before I get into why Conor McGregor is still probably getting stripped. This is what the statement says. The UFC's return to Brooklyn Barclays Center on April 7th will feature one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the year, as interim UFC lightweight champion Tony Ferguson faces #2 ranked contender Khabib Nurmagomedov for UFC 223 main event. Now, that's also a part of the bullshit, because Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jacek might be on this card, so you can't give me an interim title fight over a legitimate title fight, especially when the champ's healthy. Now, the UFC continues. Rivals for several years, Ferguson and Nurmagomedov are both looking to end their feud in the octagon, as the stage is set for About to Remember. As 25-0, Nurmagomedov looks to keep the momentum going from his back-to-back wins over Michael Johnson and Edson Barboza against former Ultimate Fighter winner Ferguson, who has won 10 in a row, including a finish over Kevin Lee that earned him the interim lightweight crown. So this is why a lot of people are assuming if this means that this is going to be for the interim title. I mean, they've said the word interim twice in the paragraph, so everyone's going crazy. But let me offer you this, and this is why this might still be saved, and I'll probably still be buying this pay-per-view, because if the UFC hasn't announced Conor McGregor's stripped yet, then of course they have to say this is for the interim title. It only makes sense. How could they say this is for Conor McGregor's title if Conor McGregor still has the title? So the UFC still could strip Conor McGregor this Saturday, and then that would just change this to say that they'll be fighting for Conor McGregor's title. So, man, really, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm fucking hoping that you know what I'm saying? they have to announce it this way because Conor hasn't been stripped yet. But as soon as Conor McGregor's stripped, the UFC will probably release a statement on Conor being stripped that says Conor McGregor is stripped. Now UFC interim lightweight champion will be defending his undisputed belt versus Khabib Nurmagomedov to headline UFC Brooklyn. That's what I'm hoping, and that's what I think is more realistic than the UFC just showing they have what. If the UFC let Conor McGregor go almost 2 years while being healthy without defending a belt in MMA, and it just would look terrible. I mean, the UFC, you know, I think, who was it? Jeff Wagenheim, I believe, was the man with the shirt on the MMA Beat. He said the UFC just looks spineless in all of this. Like, you're telling me Conor McGregor runs the show, you're a billion-dollar organization, and you're letting this guy not fight. And someone did counter with the point, well, the UFC let Conor fight Floyd Mayweather. That's true, but what about the paternity leave part? You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of fighters, Khabib Nurmagomedov, in his most recent fight, who just said, you know, after the win, like, my wife just had a baby, but I'm still fighting. You know, where's the tap machine and shit? Like, so I'm not down with Tony Ferguson defending the interim title. With all of that being said, long story short, if this remains the truth, if Tony Ferguson remains fighting Khabib for the interim title, I will not buy this pay-per-view. I'll have to watch this shit at a bar or on a motherfucking stream somewhere, so at a friend's house. I will not be fucking contributing to this as much as the rest of the cards seem stacked. They're talking about Joanna versus Rose. They're talking about Paul Felder versus Ala Quinto, Felice Herrig versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz, Tyson versus Dunham. I mean, this is looking to be a fucking amazing mixed martial arts card. But if you're going to give me Tony Ferguson defending an interim belt while Conor McGregor's healthy versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, who also could be a champion right now, and then you're going to main event that over a legitimate title fight, that to me is a slap in the face as a fan and a consumer, and I ain't rocking with that shit. So with that being said, it is what it is. Hopefully this isn't true. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.